and I knew it was. And at that point, I started feeling the sensation of crawling out of my chest. Is the only way I can describe it. Like I was pulling myself, like imagine a rope, and I'm just trying to pull myself out of my chest. And I did. And immediately I just end up in the ceiling, and I'm staring down at myself. And I did not know that that body was me. I couldn't figure out what I was looking at because I have never seen myself from that perspective. So I stared at it for a very, very long time. And I finally came to the realization that that thing laying there was me. And when that moment came, as soon as that realization came, I shot up through the ceiling. But before that, I noticed um, I noticed a lot of things that I could do and perceive. So, for example, I was able to see 360 degrees all around me. I was able to see through the walls, and my focus went away from the city, and got higher into the atmosphere, and I'm able to see the entire world now. And the world um, looked very crystalline, like it was sparkling like diamonds. It had this luminosity to it, and it had an aspect to it that felt kind of unnatural too, and another one that felt very natural and very ancient, like very, very ancient, like beyond time. And also, I got this impression that it was breathing, like the world was breathing, and it was alive, and I could feel the life that was coming from the planet. And this sort of shimmering energy that surrounded the planet, it almost felt like a technology to me, or like something that doesn't necessarily belong there, but it is there. And it was kind of fused with this ancient deity, this ancient world that we call Earth. But regardless, it was very much alive and very much living, and I could sense that very deeply. And so I I go up again, and I see the galaxy. Um, the galaxy looked very much like a spiral Milky Way that you see in telescopes. And I go higher, and I see the universe, and the universe is then enveloped in this white void. So it just kind of closes in. It was kind of like this kind of an effect. I'm going up, and it just closes, and I'm just surrounded by white mist with golden sparkles. So there's a white mist, and I see golden sparkles flying all around me. And I still feel like I have a body this entire time. I forgot to mention that I really very much felt like I was very much just a person in a body, not too different to right now. It was just a lot more clarity and a lot lighter. But as I go into this void, and am surrounded by this white mist, I see this golden light. And when I observe the golden light, my any sensation of having a body disappears completely, and I become this form, or a globe of consciousness. Like I just become this sphere of awareness. And this sphere of awareness um, was a really liberating feeling. I knew immediately when I was there that that was my natural state, that that was how we actually are, and that was like our eternal selves. And so I'm in this, and I had a color too. I was dark blue. My sphere was dark blue, and I'm looking at the light, and the light is pouring down to me uh, an amount of love that transcends all space and all time. So what that means is that it showed me all the love now and forever. So if I have a billion future lives from now, that love will never change. And that's what I knew at that moment, was that from that light, no matter what happens in eternity, that love is never going to change. Whether it was something in the past, whether it was present, future, it will always be the same forever. And I knew that. And I also felt this sensation like being on Earth was like a distant memory now. So it felt like just this very minuscule experience that didn't matter. Like it was just this tiny little dream compared to where I am now. And I forgot that I was even there while I was in this, I call it a timeless space. There was no perception of depth or width or time or space. You didn't know. It was as infinitely large as it is infinitely small. There was no context to anything. Like, I like to call it the absolute 0 point, because I feel like everything in this space collapses into zero, and it contains everything that always was and always will be. And that's what I felt. I actually knew that. I knew that the space contained all that is. And so I'm in this space and I see another blue sphere of consciousness who approaches me, and I know who they are immediately. And it's not that I necessarily know them from this planet, but I've known this soul forever. It was some kind of a soulmate. I don't know how or what that necessarily means, but what I did know was that I knew this soul forever. And it was a very deep, deep bond. Nothing compares. A mother with a newborn child does not even come close to the bond I felt with this being, or the bond we all felt there, actually, because I saw many spheres of light moving around in this space in many different colors, from yellow to red to blue, purple, and all kinds of different colors. And they're all different forms of consciousness that were kind of interacting with this space and with this light. Inside this circular pattern, I see the earth. And I don't see it as like the planet. I see it as like everything, meaning all the events that took place on it, past, present, and future. And they're all kind of intersecting with each other. So it's really hard to explain. But I was observing the past, present, and future, and they were interacting with each other, and they were completely connected with no separation in between any of it. There was no distinction between them. Like it was one continuous loop, and I saw all the events, and that blue consciousness left, and I turned my attention back to the light itself, and I plead with it to stay and beg it to stay. It responds emotionally, not with language. It responds in like a heart energy, I guess you could call it. And it rejected me, and I was really hurt. I was really, really hurt. I didn't want to go at all. And it was a really sad moment. And it pushed me out of that sphere and back into everything was in reverse again. I saw the galaxy. I saw everything again in reverse. And I slammed back into my body.